Welcome to Mike's Gaming Gala. We got some fun gameplay today. We're going to play Atari 2600 tank games. We're going to play some Thunderground. We're going to play some tanks, but no tanks, also known as Phantom Tank in some regions. And we're going to play some Robot Tank. So that should be fun. For those of you who frequent my live streams, you may know that last time I tried to live stream, I had some connection issues. What I did today is I am hardwired right into the modem. I unplugged my wireless router so the rest of the house doesn't have internet. It's just my stream. So if it craps out today, that's going to be on my modem itself, and I will be contacting my internet service provider and hopefully fix that. We've already got Intellivision Gamer in the chat. Welcome. Yes, here's to a perfect stream. What was I going to say? Yes. So, as we do with all our live streams, this October 15th to 19th, I will be at the Pinball Expo just outside of Chicago, Illinois, as a guest. I will be speaking on a panel of other content creators and people in the industry. Michael Thomason will be on the same panel. Originally, I was supposed to do a talk on kind of Homebrew 101, but I think what they've done is they've got so many guests for this 40th anniversary of the Pinball Expo, and they're merging with the Video Game Summit, so it's going to be pinball and video games and arcades, that kind of us lower guests, they've all put on a panel. So either way, that's going to be a lot of fun. If you can make it, by all means make it. If you see me, come say hi. I'd love to meet some of you guys. But yeah, let's get into some Atari 2600 tank games. I will mention, before we get into this, recently I had a person message me, email me, and attached a demo of a Game Boy game. It is a short game, but it is actually a really cool game. And just asking my opinions on it, asking me not to share yet. But I can share now because it is now out. And probably this Tuesday, I will have a little video talking about it. It is a short game, so I can't do a playthrough of it. I can't show you everything. But the subject matter is really cool. You are an inmate on death row, and you have 2 days to escape, and you have 3 actions every day. And spoiler alert, you can't escape within 2 days, so you have to find a way to kind of postpone your execution to give you more days and more actions. It's a really cool game. Depending on how quickly you pick things up, it'd probably take you an hour to beat. It's a short game, and it is digital download only, but I will have a download code for you guys for 50% off. And it's already, like, I haven't checked yet, but I think it's like $4 or $5. It's not an expensive game, but the first 50 people to use that download code will have 50% off. So that's coming soon. I'll do a little video on that. Okay, so now that I've mentioned that, I wanted to mention that. Let's play some Thunderground first. Thunderground is a great game. I've got a mini review for it. Alrighty, so, and you guys can tell me how the audio is. But this is a Sega game from 1983 on the Atari 2600. So the goal is to, oh, don't shoot me. Shoot all these nuclear cores out. And you can shoot the tanks for points, but you don't have to shoot the tanks. And those, so the blue tanks are digger tanks. The white tanks will only go in routes that you have exposed. But I really like this game. It's like if combat met Dig Dug. Awesome, thank you, Casey. Are you working more overtime today? know you were at a racing event with your son. I saw that on Facebook. Oh, now I'm blue. You know what? I'm not sure what the blue means. Oh. Whoa! Don't fall. No! Oh, I pressed down there. No! That's what happens when you get greedy. Holiday weekend, yes, it's Labor Day on Monday. I am looking forward to that extra time to get stuff ready for while I will be in France. So my son and I are going to France. We leave next Monday, but I can't leave you guys without content, so I'm going to be making sure that there's some content for while I'm gone. And Casey, you as a member, you will have full access to that content. For instance, the mini review compilation. That's not public yet. Oh, he turned and shot just at once. Yeah, remember, I've set all the content that I'm making for while I'm gone to be members only until it goes public. So you guys have that little sneak peek, a little perk. So you're watching some expert gameplay. I don't know how expert it is. Oh! I noticed in the Retro Bliss Ninja contest, there's one guy there that absolutely dominated Enduro. He had a really good root beer tapper score too. That's a guy that's gonna give you a run for your money, and me when I compete. Oh, come on, let me up there. Do we just... Oh, there we go. Oh, they keep coming. Okay, take a shot, duck in, jump out. There we go. Yeah, the mini review compilations, I mean, they're great for me because I get to reuse a little bit of content and put it in a different format, because not everybody watches the shorts. I've always read that you should treat shorts as basically a different audience than your full videos, so I don't feel bad mashing those together and putting them out. They don't get tons of views, but they're fun, and I like doing them. So far, I've got almost 150 of them that I've done. Yeah. So Casey says that he won't even spend enough time trying to compete with that guy to get close. Oh. Okay, maybe the strategy here is to jump. Oh, we popped right out. Yeah, he got to day 9. I don't think I've ever gotten to day 9. Day 5 is usually when I tap out, if I recall. I love Enduro. It's a tough game for sure. Nope. Thankfully, your little vehicle here is fast enough to dodge bullets sometimes. Oh, go away. There we go. Yeah, so if you look at the about on my channel, it's like you've got 500 and some odd reviews. Over 50% of those are shorts. And I have people that are subscribed to me just for the shorts. I recommend doing them. They are content, like I know when I don't have a lot of time, I'll spend a lot of time just, or not a lot of time, but if I don't have a lot of time, I'll watch shorts. I like shorts. They're not my usual content that I watch, but I like them. So the big problem is you got that little strip of defensive tanks, and you got to kind of, if you want to be able to shoot them from far, you got to clear this top row. And you get those bonus items. Oh, no! Oh, no, I still have a life. I still have a life. Yeah, you're 80. So Casey, the Intellivision gamer, is at 88 of 125 original gameplay videos. He's looking forward to it being done, and then he'll focus on the 46. He's only at 46 homebrew gameplay videos. For the Intellivision, there are more homebrews than there are original games. I think we're at 200 and something now. Tons, and Casey has them all. But the last short he did was his son, and then before that, when he got all the had all the stuff for me in this car and with his wife. But I would say that one short with your son did really, really, really well. Something about the algorithm just took it right off. We're gonna play this again. So what I would say is if you've got the time to cut them up in your original 125, just repurpose all of those as shorts. Release them a couple times a week. And you might get some more subscribers out of them, and it's reusing content that you've already made. I like when I'm able to do that. While I'm gone, I'm going to be doing that with my tier list live stream. There we go. So, one of the things about this game that you can do for extra points is just make sure you clear everything. It does make it more difficult because the tanks can shoot you wherever, but you may find the little bonus items, like there's a key and a radio, I think, that give you extra points. Yeah, and Intellivision wants to do more shorts, has no time. I make up for the fact that I have no time by not sleeping. Okay, I gotta get away from that tank. Because I really like doing the channel. I really do. For those who, yeah, Dig Dug with tanks. For those who were not aware, on Friday night, I did a live stream through StreamYard with Spencer Walters of Guardian Game Studio and his new Game Boy Color game, Winsley's Guardian, which is on Kickstarter right now, but it is fully funded, so if you're one of those people that is not comfortable with Kickstarter, and I know there are lots of them, you know, the game is going to happen. It will eventually be on his website after all the Kickstarter obligations are taken care of. But it is so much more than when I demoed it on stream. He's added cutscenes, he's added new levels, there's branching paths. You can battle a meth dealer in the bar. Lots of really cool stuff that he's added to it. And one of the best things that he's added to it, absolute best things, and he says it's in more areas as well. But if you go to the television in your house in the opening kind of gameplay scene, and you click on it twice, what's on TV? Why, Mike's Gaming Gala, of course, because everybody watches Mike's Gaming Gala. So I'm in a Game Boy game, and that is the coolest thing ever. We gotta get me in more games. Not as, like, the main character. I'm not main character material, but as little Easter eggs here and there, I approve. Oh. But Spencer's a cool guy. We got to talk with him. We got to, chat, asked a few questions. We were talking about lots of cool stuff. And I talked about why I backed the game at the $100 level. Which is because... So the game is about... So Winsley's guardian is actually her older sister who died very shortly after childbirth. And so the whole idea of it is, somebody you've never met, but they're your guardian through life. Oh, that was bad. And I had a similar story, not of a potential older sibling, but my grandma... Oh, that was just dumb. I saw it coming and I just watched it. My grandmother, my dad's mother, was so excited to be a grandma. They told her that they were pregnant with me, and 2 months later, she died very suddenly. I've always heard stories of her, how she was a great person, how excited she was going to spoil me rotten. Oh, shoot. But obviously I never met her and she never met me. So at the $100 donation tier, you can add someone to the heaven scene at the end of the game. You're playing Winsley through her entire life. And then at the end, obviously, as is with everyone's life, she dies, and there's a heaven scene. And at the $100 tier, you can put somebody in the heaven scene and give them a little bit of dialogue. I think 50 characters. It's not like you can have an essay. But I am going to be putting my grandmother in the game. I'm doing that for my dad. Because my dad lost his father when my dad was really young, so he was very attached to his mother. So that kind of broke him when she died, and especially just before she got to become a grandma. So that's the donation tier that I went for. And I'm not a wealthy man, but I thought that was worth that little bit. And the fact that Mike's Gaming Gala is in the game as well, I mean, that's just awesome. I showed my wife, and she thought it was hilarious. Yes, clear those for me. Attaboy. Yes, at least she knew. She was young, too. She was, I think, 52. And then my dad's sister, because after his mother died, he only had his sister. She died at 36. It's very, very sad. I can't imagine. Like, I'm older than my aunt was when she died, and that's crazy. Too short of a life. She was a really cool person, too. Whoops. Getting distracted, talking. Oh, come on. Oh, I just avoided that. These blue tanks are a pain. There we go. My birthday is the 24th. I will probably do a birthday stream because we don't have the Retro Bliss Rewind podcast for September. We're taking a break. But I will be back from France on my birthday. And so I might, do that. We'll see. If I do, it'll be later. You're not bothered by that because you're Eastern. Oh no, your show's on Monday. So you're not bothered by that because you're in on Pacific time. Okay, come on down here, dude. Thank you. But I'll do the birthday thing with the family, and then when the kids go to bed, I might live stream. We'll see. Oh, bad. Oh. Yes, your daughter's is right around that time. My younger son, he's the 28th of September. So that's it's a busy month here for sure. I haven't had a proper birthday in a long time because my son is so close. We always do something on his. All right, let's play Tanks But No Tanks. This is also known as Phantom Tank in some regions. I really like this game. I got crap from Jeremiah Thomas, who is a member of the channel, and I appreciate he's very knowledgeable about Atari. But I gave Pitfall a 7 out of 10 in my mini review, and I gave Tanks But No Tanks a 9 out of 10. And he was like, I never thought I'd live in a world where Tanks But No Tanks gets a better score than Pitfall. But I'm not a big fan of Pitfall. Yeah, so my mother's birthday is the 5th. My brother's birthday is the 10th. I'm the 24th. My uncle's birthday is the 24th. And my son's birthday is the 28th. And when I was growing up, one of my best friends, his birthday was the 28th. And if I'm not mistaken, my cousin's birthday is also the 28th. So it's a very busy month, September. But it makes sense because September is 9 months after, that kind of December, January. And it's cold up here in Canada. So nothing better to do than make babies. We like making babies. Okay. What am I doing here? Am I clicked into it? There we go. So, I love this game. This game, so I did a review of a Genesis game called Cannon Fire Chaos. Which is, like, this type of game is on a lot of different consoles, but I really like this one. I like that it's on the Atari. Somebody like John Champeau could do a really good job at making this better. Like, you can see there's all the flickery sprites. And hopefully you're watching at 60 frames a second. Otherwise, these really will be Phantom tanks. Okay, so that tank down there, you got to protect your home base here. Uh-oh. If they shoot your home base, it's just like if they shot you. Uh-oh. No, okay. But at least I crashed into him. I don't want him blowing up my home base. Hey Saboteur, how's it going? Right now we're playing some Tanks But No Tanks on the Atari 2600. After this we'll play a little bit of Robot Tank. I go back and forth on which I prefer, Robot Tank or Battle Zone. Um, but I think I have to give it to Robot Tank. There's a lot of cool stuff that goes on in there. Depending on what time it is when we finish Robot Tank, we might play some Beam Rider. I like Beam Rider a lot. But we'll play the Atari 2600 version of Beam Rider. Oh, watch out for that. We'll stick to the Atari theme today. I know I got two major intellivision guys in the chat right now. Beam Rider is great on any system. Although if you watched my Juno First review, Juno First is better than Beam Rider in my personal opinion. Uh-oh, I'm getting surrounded here. Uh-oh, don't. Okay, I ran into them. Yeah, I wish I could join you guys at Portland this year. Just September is not a good month for those kind of events. I hope they change it back to October, and then maybe next year I'll be able to make it. Oh, see, he got my... Yes, Casey, I know you're an Atari 2600 guy as well, but you've got... See, that just ends your game when they blow up your base. I know you're an Atari guy as well. I don't know if Juno First was on the Commodore 64. It's entirely possible. It was an arcade game back in the day. So I'm positive it had ports at some point. But it's a game that never made it to the 2600. And the homebrew of it is unbelievably awesome. It is one of my favorite Atari homebrews. Oh. That was bad. Yes, I would much prefer if Retro Game Expo, or Portland Retro Gaming Expo was in October. It was for a bunch of years. I know earlier in its lifespan it was a September event. But September is just, like, the kids go back to school, we've got all the birthdays. I know that's more, so dumb. I know that's more of a me thing. But, yeah, October's better. Just not during Canadian Thanksgiving. Don't do that. Late October. It's possible they're just hoping for some better weather, but it's the Pacific Northwest. That, you know, anytime in the autumn, it's going to be kind of rainy and gray. You just accept it and make your event. They're all kind of swarming around this one area. There we go. Oh no, and then the last one turned and flanked me. Hello, GSGDG. How's it going today? We're playing some Atari 2600 tank games. We just finished playing Thunderground. We're playing tanks, but no tanks right now. This is a ZMAG release, and I would argue they're best. They're not exactly a publisher that was known for quality. But aside from the flicker on the tanks, I love this. This is just such a good game, and it's quite well executed. It was 96 degrees there. It was really hot here as well. August is usually quite hot for us, but it's been a bit of a roller coaster. Like, one or two nights you'll be wearing a sweater in the evening, and then the next day you're sweating. Uh-oh. Stay away from my base! Stay away! No. Oh, on the other side here. Piss off! crashed into him. That's okay. Who wins the tank genre, Atari or Intellivision? I would say just by virtue of the fact that there are more... he turned into me. There wasn't much I could do there. There are more tank games on the 2600 than there are on the Intellivision. I would say Atari wins. They've got Robot Tank, they've got Battlezone, they got Tanks but No Tanks, they got Thunderground. I think Threshold is a tank game, but that's a bad one. That's a Tiger Vision game. I do like Armor Ambush. I think it's Armor Ambush. Or is it Armor Assault? No, he's gonna... Okay, we'll play another round of this. I want to show you the third screen. But when it gets open like this, it's difficult. But, yeah, I would say Atari wins the tank genre. Not because Intellivision doesn't have a good tank game, but because it doesn't have a lot of variety in tank games. But for this stream, I was just, I was looking through some of my old mini reviews, like, oh, what would be some good games to stream? And, a few of them were tank games. I'm like, oh, let's do a themed stream today. Haven't done that before, and it also gave me excuse to make a fun, cool thumbnail of me in a tank. GSGDG bought an Atari Game Pro off of Facebook. Can't wait to open it and play. That's actually quite a good system. The controllers on it suck. I forget what controllers you can use in Substitute. I know there aren't many, but some you can. But the actual base system itself, loaded with stuff, and you can load it with more stuff. I appreciate that, thank you. Yeah, the GameStation Pro... Oh, I crashed into him. It's a good little system, I like it. I don't play it often, because, let's be honest, I've got 45 different ways to play Atari games. But I have it. It's nice to have. Oh, no, you don't. No, you... No. There you go. Okay. Come around the corner. Come around the corner. There we go. Yes, they should bring the slogan back. With the little jingle. Have you played Atari today? Oh, I missed them. Although Mr. Postile has a really funny version of that jingle. It's Have you paid Atari today? Because he is sick and tired of paying Atari money and waiting like a year to get what he paid for. So here in Canada, I can't order directly from Atari. I have to order from Amazon, and I've had no problem. My stuff arrives when it's supposed to arrive. The 2600 Plus, I did get an email from Amazon saying it would be late, and it was like a day late. That's fine. Pressing that button! But yeah, I like Atari products. Their customer service needs to improve, for sure. Okay, I gotta be smart here. I was able to get to the third screen for the mini review. I was able to clear it too. Oh, dumb. will read that chat in just a sec. I need to focus on the combat right now. There's always more pressure when you're playing live. No, don't hit my... Boo. I'm Intellivision Gamer's assistant to the assistant regional manager. All right, we'll do this one more time, and then we'll move on to some Robot Tank. And maybe some bonus Beam Rider. It depends on how bad I suck at Robot Tank when I play. Do I think an Intellivision Plus is coming soon? You know what? I know Gen X Grown Up did a video saying that the Intellivision Plus should be the next thing that Atari does. I would love an Intellivision Plus. There are certain things... Now, like, the thing that I would want an Intellivision Plus for the most would be homebrew. The homebrew library, in my personal opinion, absolutely eclipses the original Intellivision library. It is so much better. When I play Intellivision, it is almost exclusively homebrew these days. And most of those homebrews are what are called JLP carts. And JLP carts have protection on them that prevent dumping. Now, I know that William Muller has talked to Joe Zbyszak. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. Oh, no, get over here. Okay. And there is a way to bypass that with a cart dumper. In my experience, does Atari care enough to do that? Is a big question. I think an Intellivision Plus that doesn't play JLP games, you might as well not have an Intellivision Plus. And also, the Intellivision fan base is a lot smaller than the Atari 2600 fan base. So, is it something that they would really want to invest that time and effort into? Maybe. You know, they did buy Intellivision for... they did buy Intellivision to use that brand. So I would bet at some point in time you'd get something like an Intellivision Plus. But it needs to have JLP support. JLP is... Hey Scott, how's it going? JLP is a type of cartridge that a lot of modern homebrews use. It allows you to save your game onto the cartridge, or high scores or whatever settings. It allows higher ROM, or higher memory on the cart. It allows a few different things. It doesn't do anything that they wouldn't have been able to do back in the day. Like, it doesn't give you more sprites or better graphics or anything like that. It just allows you to have bigger games. Oh, this is not my day for tanks, but no tanks. And dumping, he says. So dumping is when you've got a cartridge, like Polaris here, you put it into a thing and it rips the ROM off of the cart. So the way the Atari 2600 Plus, the Atari 7800 Plus works, how I'm positive an Intellivision Plus would work, is that it's a ROM dumper and then an emulator on the box. So it's a two-step process. It first gets the ROM from the cartridge, has it as a little temporary file, and then the emulator on the console plays the file. The big problem in that is the dumper. So ripping the ROM from the cart. And that's why the compatibility issues have been a little bit of a problem with some homebrew games on the Atari 2600 Plus, is because the ROM dumper, it can't dump certain types of ROMs, at least the one that they have. Now, can you improve that technology and get better and better and better and be able to do that? Sure. And I hope they do. I hope the 7800 Plus has alleviated some of those compatibility issues. But JLP has dumping protection on it built in. So you can't dump a JLP cart without Josie's know-how, at least not currently. So we need to have a cart dumper for any potential Intellivision Plus that would be able to do that. And if that means giving Josie a call, please, by all means, Atari, do that. Get something in that cart dumper that is able to play JLP carts. And he says, is there an annual Intellivision conference that you all attend? So I won't be attending this year, but I would say that the annual Intellivision get-together is Portland Retro Gaming Expo, like Tim says there. That's where everybody meets. Usually there's a lot of new Intellivision homebrew releases, mostly from Intellivision Revolution. He usually drops a whole bunch. I'm not sure how many he'll have this year, but I think last year he had like 15 or 20 or something. It was a lot of games. Speaking of which, Tim Linder in the chat, he is one of the two drunk siblings from the YouTube channel My Drunk Sibling. I love those guys. They did a 2-hour, normally their videos are between 10 and 20 minutes. They drink and they play old games. But they released a 2-hour episode of Dungeons of Daggerath. And man, I loved watching that. And AJ hated, AJ, who's the other sibling, she hated it. And she was just like, how much longer are we going to be playing this? And Tim was something along the lines of a long time. And she's like, why? Because she's trying to hit like A space R for attack right, A space R. I love that channel. Go check them out, please. They are criminally underwatched. And they live in the Portland area, so they will be at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. All right, let's play some Robot Tank. Where is Robot Tank? Here we go. So we got the radar at the bottom there. Oh, there is... there are like helicopters in this game. Oh, see, I've got damage. I forget what C is. It might be my cannon. I might not be able to fire as fast now. But yeah, there's weather. See, it's nighttime now. You kind of have to... Whoa! Oh, got me. Rita, so Tim's a tech guy. He knows his stuff when it comes to that. And he says, oh, is there a sea battle comment above? I'll look for that in a sec. You kind of have to use your radar to hit them here. Rain alert. It's raining. There we go. But I will read Tim's comment because I can see it right there and I don't have to hunt. Real-time cartridge in-out would bypass any protections. Joe put it. Oh! Yes, it would. If you can bypass the cart dumper altogether and interact with the ROM on the cart, you're fine. So, I should just read read chat. Dr. Volk, welcome. Dr. Volk was YouTuber of the Month for July, I believe, or was it June? Yeah, I'm doing bad. Let's just go here. I'm gonna find. GSGDG says, I am a broken record, but I would highly contribute to a one-player sea battle. Yeah, this is just, it's reset because I died terribly trying to read chat. But you don't watch Mike's Gaming Gala for great gameplay, you watch it for the interaction. Dr. Vogel was the YouTuber of the Month for June, yeah. And just finished was the voting for YouTuber of the Month for September. And we have a winner, and I've emailed them, and hopefully they get back to me soon. And I've already recorded everything for my end of it for September's video, and that will be coming out soon. I'll be coming out this week at some point. It's a different. I was at my grandparents' home, beautiful scenery. I like, let's do an outdoor episode. So it's an outdoor episode this month. And then I've already got plans for the next 3 episodes, which will be October, November, December, and I will be shooting some stuff next weekend for YouTuber of the Year competition. So Dr. Volk, as one of the winners of YouTuber of the Month in November, you're going to be getting a message from me. You might want to run for YouTuber of the Year, host competition next year. I think you do a good job. Game Closet says he loves him some Robot Tank. I love Robot Tank too, but when I'm distracted, I can usually roll this score. I can do really well. So I'll quickly repeat it. I'm a pro, but I'll do anything to repeat. Okay, so he would do any... GSGDG really wants a one-player sea battle game on the intellivision. Intelligent Vision. He's probably the guy that'll do it for you. He specializes in hacks of existing games. If he can add some AI in to see that sea battle for you. And the thing I love about him is, like, sometimes his games are published through Intellivision Revolution physically, but you can get almost all of his ROMs from his website, intellivision.us. Badia, say, do you remember Badia Dancing in September? Oh, okay. Dr. Volk's reciting some lyrics. And Intellivision Gamer says he's reserved his car for PRGE, and Savitar hopes that car is big enough to bring back all the stuff he's going to buy. Intellivision Gamer buys a lot of stuff, but as is evidence from his short, he's buying it all for me, so I don't know why he hasn't shipped me that play cable yet. Get on it, Casey. Okay, let's play some more Robot Tank. Hopefully a little better this time. I like the bounciness of the tank. Why? Over there. Oh, I got him. I really like that it gets like nighttime and foggy and rainy, and I think there's snow as well. Like, there's different weather, and based on how bad you're hit, your radar can go out, your tracks can go out. That's a bad one. Fog alert. Aye! Stop shooting at me. Stop shooting at me, you jerk. Enemy squadron defeated. Bonus 1 tank. So based on when this came out, we're fighting Soviet tanks is my assumption. Oh no, tracks. I'm a sitting duck. I'm a sitting duck. Trying to turn. Oh. All right, Salvatore, thanks for stopping in. Hephaestus says that Robot Tanks was one of his favorites. I really like it. Sometimes I prefer the, it depends on my mood. Oh. Sometimes I prefer the simplicity of Battlezone. I love the Battlezone arcade. Oh dear, my vision's out. This is bad. And it's foggy. Not that I can see anyway. We're driving by radar. Oh. Aren't I Canadian? We wouldn't be fighting anybody. So here's the thing, Jeremiah. Everyone's like, oh, everybody loves Canadians. Nobody fights Canadians. Except for the problem is we're allied to the United States of America, who has lots of enemies around the world. So we do fight people. And if you open your history book to World War I, you'll realize that a lot of the Geneva Convention is actually based on stuff that Canadians did in World War I. We are known to be really nice until we're in a war. To the point that one of the running jokes is that we call them the Geneva Suggestions or the checklist. Yeah, so we're nice until you give us a hockey stick, or you fight us in a war. Let's see what other people have been. Stuff from publishers and things people have shipped to me to bring to PRGE. Yes, I actually have to ship you some stuff, Casey. I need to get your address. I have to ship you some stuff on behalf of Willie. In Soviet Russia, Canada thanks you. Yes. The only Canadian war hero who ever lived was James Doohan. James Doohan, obviously Scotty on Star Trek, was absolutely a war hero. He lost fingers on D-Day, but he is by far not the only Canadian war hero. Winston Churchill famously said, if you give me Canadian troops, American industry, and British officers, I could take over the world. Now, as far as the British officers go, I think you just had to throw British in there. But, like, again, going back to World War I, there are so many situations where the French would try to take a position, the British would try to take a position, the Australians would try to take a position, and then finally they would send in the Canadians. The Canadians were viewed as crack troops, at least back then, because they were bush people, for all intents and purposes. Yeah, it's there is a very good reputation for Canadian soldiers. We are the largest English-speaking population in the world to have never lost a war. GSGDG is a retired U.S. Army lieutenant slash colonel, lieutenant colonel, and veteran, and he fought alongside Canadians in Afghanistan and Iraq. Well, thank you very much for your service, sir. And Hephaestus says, "Hey, Mike, don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I'm going to. My channel just passed 1,000 subs. All that bumpkin I do has found an audience." That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Is this running on a 2600 plus? No, this is running on the Stella emulator. When I stream, I prefer to use emulation on my computer. It's a lot more stable. All right, we'll play one more round of Robot Tank, and maybe we'll play a tiny bit of Beam Rider just to finish things up. And hopefully I don't absolutely crap the bed this time. We haven't even seen one of the helicopters. I'm doing terrible. So for those of you who do not know, Hephaestus here, he does a lot of movie prop stuff. I am also into that community, replica movie and television props. And one that he's working on that we are both huge James Bond fans. And one thing that he's working on that I am really looking forward to seeing is the Lotus Esprit from The Spy Who Loved Me. He's in the UK, so he's got access to these British vehicles that were used in the Bond movies. That doesn't mean they're cheap, but they are more accessible there than they are here. One of my dreams, if I could have one movie car, I have a Jurassic Park Jeep. It is not by any stretch of the imagination an exciting vehicle. It's fun, and I love Jurassic Park, but I would love to have the Aston Martin DB5 from Goldfinger. And Hephaestus here, we talked about it. Oh, my tracks are out. Oh. You've seen everyone except for Die Another Day. And No Time to Die. Oh. And you're not missing much. No Time to Die actively made me angry. Die Another Day is okay. And Spy Who Loved Me is Dr. Volk's favorite. Oh, it's icy. I'm slipping. Favorite Roger Moore Bond film. It's right up there for me. I would say For Your Eyes Only is probably my favorite Roger Moore Bond film. I liked kind of that more back to basics, less gadgets kind of deal, but it is hard to argue with The Spy Who Loved Me. That is a fantastic movie. Funny story. Okay, I will read Jeremiah Thomas's funny story in a second. I have to die a robot tank first. Yeah. Mission ended. Funny story, I was in some UN building in Kosovo when I heard a guy say, "These paper towels are great, eh?" And was like, "What?" Then I saw his Canadian flag patch and I was like, "Oh, yes." We say "eh" in the same way as Americans say "huh." So it's like, "Oh, that's really cool, huh?" We'd be like, "That's really cool, eh?" Just is. I notice a lot of people in the UK say "a" as well. Moonraker is Jeremiah Thomas's favorite Roger Moore Bond movie. Okay, it is probably my least favorite. It's got some great scenes in it, but Moonraker's a bit of a farce to me. They really tried to hop on that Star Wars bandwagon. My favorite Bond movie, it is probably Goldfinger, but I think the better movie, despite the fact that Goldfinger is my favorite, I think From Russia with Love is probably the best Bond movie. I'm a huge Sean Connery Bond fan. He is my favorite by far. I appreciate all of them. There is not a single Bond movie that I don't like something from it. I knew James Bond before I knew Santa Claus. My dad is a huge Bond fan, and he used to go see the Bond movies with his mother. Um, let's see. Hephaestus says the Bandit is in primer ready to paint, and Kit's Dash is just about ready to reinstall. Next summer, I'll be spoilt for choice of which to drive. You are so lucky, man. I wish I had the space for more vehicles. Welcome to the 80s. We're in space now. Everything's in space. Although, Moonraker was from the 70s, late 70s. I think it was the last Bond movie from the 70s. The first 3/4 of Moonraker are damn near perfect. This last quarter gets a little weird, but the first 75% is awesome. You know what? I don't think I'd disagree with you on that. There is a lot to love about Moonraker. But that end scene kind of that end stuff on the space station, it kind of dominates. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but I don't like it as a Bond thing. That said, Ninja Army attacking a volcano base and You Only Live Twice. Yes, please. I love that. All right, let's finish up with a little bit of Beam Rider. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is a brilliant Bond movie. My only issue with it is that George Lazenby was basically doing his best Connery impression. He was a good Bond, but the movie is damn near perfect. And it is, of all the movies, it is the closest to the book. I've read through the books, though. It's quite interesting how so many people enjoy From Russia with Love, even though it's technically not as Bondy as the others. That movie, I think it's the closest to a grounded spy thriller. Yes, I would agree. It's between that and Dr. No, like almost no gadget. Well, and on Her Majesty's Secret Service. The biggest gadget you have on Her Majesty's Secret Service, well, you've got the radioactive lint and you've got the safecracker. So both those two movies, and From Russia with Love, you don't have much, and Dr. No, you don't have much in the way of gadgets. They are much more based in the novel, and I like that a lot. And on Her Majesty's Secret Service, I used to ski. I grew up in British Columbia, and I used to ski all the time, and you know damn well the On Her Majesty's Secret Service theme was always in my head while I was skiing down. The return of Jaws as a henchman was great. Yeah, but I really didn't like him in Moonraker. Like, that scene at the start when Drax is on the... Oh, he's available? It's like, come on. It's silliness. Come on down, you little... You coming over? No. Oh, now he comes over. Oops, I accidentally fired a torpedo. I forgot. Pressing up fires your torpedoes. You want to save those for the Sentinel at the end. Oh, and I shouldn't shoot that yellow thing. You gotta collect the yellow thing. My bad, I'm forgetting. Coming over. Yes, but then there's a dude here. So, Super Maker Graphics 64, I haven't read the whole thing. He's mentioning that he likes Timothy Dalton. I love Timothy Dalton. So there are two kind of types of Bond. You've got the Sean Connery type of Bond, which still does the quips and all that, but tends to be more serious. More brutal, and then you've got the Roger Moore style Bond, which is more of the comedic Bond. So, I was supposed to grab that. Of the Bonds, you've got Sean Connery, you've got George Lazenby, Timothy Dalton and Daniel Craig as like the more Connery themed Bonds, the more serious ones. And for the more comedic ones, you have Roger Moore and Pierce Brosnan. I love one of my favorite Bond films, and it is incredibly unpopular, is License to Kill. License to Kill took a lot from the books, like the scene with Felix Leiter, where there's the note saying when the shark half eats him, and it says he disagreed with something that ate him. That note is directly from the Live and Let Die book. That scene in the aquarium is also from Live and Let Die. It gave us a very cold, hard Bond that I don't think people were really ready for. Way ahead of his time. I loved Timothy Dalton as James Bond. I wish he had gotten to do more. I went to a screening of Octopussy, which was directed by John Glenn. John Glenn directed most of the Roger Moore Bond films. And he said that Roger Moore used to always want to take the dark stuff out because he realized that what Bond had become was something that, fathers could take their kids to. And he used to always respond. Like, he didn't want to do that scene in For Your Eyes Only where he kicks I shot the stupid thing again. He didn't want to do the scene where he kicks the car over the cliff. And he kept telling John Glenn, what about the kids? Think of the kids. And so with License to Kill, Living Daylights I really liked. I think we're done now. Yeah, we're done. Living Daylights I really liked. But it was more of a standard kind of Bond film. And then License to Kill, they intentionally went dark. And it was something that John Glenn reflected on when he was doing his talk, and I was listening, reflecting, is like, it was because of that. It was because parents couldn't take their kids. Living Daylight, or License to Kill, was the first Bond movie I saw in the theater. Thankfully, for the 50th anniversary of James Bond, they had an event here in Toronto where they screened all of them on the big screen. So I have seen all of them on the big screen, and I took my kids to see Goldfinger, because like I said, that's probably my favorite one. Yeah, it's... I love Timothy Dalton as Bond. Let's see. I'd love to see him come back for old Bond like Connery did. Not going to happen. No multiverse in Bond. Well, now, that's one of the things that really pissed me off about No Time to Die, is that they're setting it up for some kind of stupid multiverse. For the first time, and realized it was a theme from The Incredible. Dr. Volk is a younger guy. So that's fair. Yes, if you consider the movie books, the base books as canon, then Felix Leiter has been eaten alive by sharks twice. That's right, because in the book, Live and Let Die, Felix Leiter is eaten by a shark and has that note. He disagreed with something that ate him, and that's also in the movie License to Kill. Dr. Volk says, according to many YouTube comments I've read, yes, very reputable, I know, Dalton is probably the most book-accurate Bond. I would agree with that. In License to Kill, I would say he is the most book-accurate Bond. Followed probably by George Lazenby and Sean Connery. The Roger Moore certainly brought a lot of his own flavor to James Bond. I'm going to switch this over to full screen. Oh, there we go. Certainly brought a lot of his own flavor to James Bond. And it felt a little bit more like The Saint, which Roger Moore was famous for prior to James Bond. That's fine. I'd have two nickels. That's a reply to something. I don't see it. Living Daylights, Jeremiah Thomas says, is probably his third favorite Bond movie. I love the stuff in Afghanistan at the end. And that music, Living Daylights was John Barry's last soundtrack for James Bond. And it was phenomenal soundtrack at the end there especially. But I like the Bond theme. And the whole, with the Aston Martin on the ice, I'd love to get that Aston Martin too. Hey AJ, yeah, it's all right that you're late. We're just winding up, but if you want to watch it back, you're welcome to watch it back. I did mention you guys when Tim popped into the chat here. Think of the kids, Glenn. Yes, exactly what Roger Moore would tell John Glenn. But probably my favorite Roger Moore scene of all time is him kicking that car off the cliff in For Your Eyes Only. Just that is an incredible Bond moment. The same as in Dr. No, shooting that unarmed guy. He's like, "You've had your six." Just very Bond moment. Bond is a cold, calculated killer. He's not something you should look up to. He's charming and all that stuff, but he has to have that killer edge. He has to be intimidating and scary. And I absolutely love that about Sean Connery. I absolutely love that about Daniel Craig at times. I think Daniel Craig didn't quite have the charming side. I think Connery was the whole package. Roger Moore and Pierce Brosnan really played up the charming side and the humorous side. Everybody plays to their strengths, and there's certainly something to be said about every era. I'm not the biggest Roger Moore fan, but you cannot deny that if the series had not gone more that route, I don't think James Bond lasts through the 70s. Have I ever played James Bond 007 The Duel? Unfortunately not. The last Bond game that I played a lot was GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64. I have played some of the games since, but I've not played all the way through them, unfortunately. Hephaestus says Roger Moore was a longtime ambassador of UNICEF, so the kids' point of view was always high on his priority list, and that's true. And like I said, I don't think James Bond survives the 70s without building that young fan base. So there is definitely something to be said there. Yes, You've Had Your Six was fantastic. Anyhow, this derailed, but I'm happy to talk about James Bond anytime. I love James Bond. Hephaestus says Daniel Craig was an uneducated sledgehammer, not the sophisticated spy he should be, more of a thug. Yeah, so he definitely had that killer instinct side. The charm and the sophistication wasn't really there. But I did enjoy, I loved Spectre and I loved Casino Royale. The other three, no, not Spectre, no, Skyfall. I loved Skyfall and I loved Casino Royale. Yeah, so he was missing a lot of that, and the other three Daniel Craig Bond movies I didn't think were particularly great. Again, they all have scenes that I like in them. And Jeremiah Thomas says, if we are professional assassins, wouldn't looking up to a brutal Bond be a good thing? In that case, it would be. Well, actually, probably not. So, as an assassin, sure. As a spy, probably not. James Bond is not a very good spy. He goes around telling everybody his name. He goes around, like, it's, he's not a great spy in that regard. But they are great movies, and it's a great franchise that I love. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I hope you had fun. If you're not a big James Bond fan, I hope you learned something in this last little segment here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be streaming next weekend. I've got a really busy weekend, but if I do, it'll be Saturday afternoon. You'll see it pop up. And for those of you who are members of the channel, you're going to, over the next week, see a lot of videos being uploaded to the member section. They are scheduled for when I'm in France for 2 weeks. And I'm just giving you kind of preview of them. So you'll be able to see them first. Last comment I'm going to read here. Before I die, I want to see a Bond movie where he goes undercover and is not found out. Yes, that would be neat to see. All right. Have a great weekend. I hope you're having a great weekend, everybody. Have a great week. And we'll see you next time on Mike's Gaming Gala.